Hello everybody, this is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have for you an Oxide Ink blended stencil card. So let's jump right in. So to start, I always have my paper cut down like you guys know, and I am going to show you my little domed foam holder that I created. One of these days I'll stop showing you, but I'm still so proud of it, so I keep bringing it out. But so this card is pretty much only going to feature the Simon Hurley Scene Maker stencil and masks. I'm going to show you a full card, except for the sentiment. I did go to scrapbook.com's Handmade Essentials for my thanks sentiment, but otherwise, we are only going to use the Simon Hurley Scene Maker stencils and masks, because this stencil set is amazing. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm sorry I'm a little bit out of frame here. I promise I'm going to fix this once we get going here a little bit. But I'm going to use pumice stone and hickory smoke for the mountains. And now you should probably stick your stencil down. I didn't, so you can see that I'm trying to hold it and it's kind of shifting on me and wiggling around. Maybe stick yours down. I didn't. I will later. You're going to see that. But to start, I didn't. So I started with a layer of pumice stone. And then just coming up from the bottom, I also used hickory smoke just to create a bit more, what's the right word for that? Not texture, but variation, I guess. More of a color variation in my mountain so that it wasn't just one solid color. So I just brought a little bit of hickory smoke up from the bottom, and then I take my pumice stone and I blend out where the two colors are meeting. Now, if I was going to redo this card, I would honestly do more than one set of mountains. I would have masked it off because it comes with a mask, so you can do that super easily, and then done another set of mountains behind the first set of mountains. I didn't. I only did one, but if I was going to redo it, I would honestly have done more than one set of mountains, just for a little more added on the bottom. But I did a pretty dramatic sky, so, I mean, not a big deal. I think the card turned out pretty amazing regardless, but if I was going to redo it, I would do more than one set of mountains, just to add a little bit more to the bottom of the card. So if you remake this, think about that. So this stencil, you guys, like this stencil costs, I think it was like $5 American. So isn't that like stupendous? Like, come on, you don't even know how much. Okay, we're going to see how much this stencil has going on, but it's just amazing. So then for this sky, we're going to use squeezed lemonade into fossilized amber and into worn lipstick. So I was kind of trying for like a sunset-ish blend. You're going to have to tell me if I hit it. I'm always playing with the colors that go in my skies, so I think it looks pretty cool. And you know how much I like pink, so I finished with pink. But you don't have to. You could do this with so many blended colors. You could do like a twilight sky or just a day sky. Like it just, this stencil set is just stunning. And you know how much I love my oxides. So I'm going to blend those back and forth until I get a blend that I really like. And there you can see on the mountains at the bottom there, I've got the mask covering the mountains. And then I'm just holding it down on the top to make sure that it doesn't lift while I'm blending my colors. And it's just such a cool stencil. When I first saw this, Cassie Trask showed it in one of her videos, and I just fell in love with it and had to get it. So this is me playing with it. I actually got it a little bit ago, but I was doing Christmas in July, so had to wait a little bit to kind of play with it. So then I'm going to take off my mask, and then we're going to add a little bit of texture, because you know how I feel about that. So we're going to splash a little bit of water onto the background, just create a little texture into the background. And then I just lifted the color so it would lift up the oxide, just to add a little bit more going on, just because it's quite flat color at this point. And we're going to take the stencil again, and we're going to take some Hero Hues Unicorn Pigment ink and just a little dauber, and we're going to make clouds. Now, they're going to be very subtle clouds. You could absolutely make them darker or stronger. I wanted them subtle. I wanted the biggest part of this to be the blended background, like the part that stood out the most to be the blended background. But can you see how cool this stencil is? It has birds and stars and grass and mountains and clouds and a cloud border and a sunshine and a moon, and it has masks for all of those pieces. How cool is that? Like here, I put the mask down for the mountains, and then I did a cloud kind of coming out behind the mountains. Like, how cool is that? Sorry, I get a little excited. But I love this stencil. I just think it's so versatile and so affordable. So all of my supplies will be linked and listed down below. If you have any questions about anything that I'm using in here, everything is linked and listed below. And there was a coordinating blog post if you ever want to check that out. It's not super detailed because I do videos, but it will always list everything that I'm using, or anything, like if I have any tips or things that I would change, or you don't have time to watch the video, there's usually there's always a coordinating blog post for you to check out if you ever want to. So I just used my finger dauber and I daubed on that ink, and I'm just showing here this really cool container I got from scrapbook.com. Will be linked down below. And then I came back in with some pumice stone. Is it pumice stone? I can't read that, so it might be hickory smoke. No, I think it's hickory smoke now that I think about it. And it is, I'm just sponging on for the birds. So I'm going to put 5 birds in the background, because you know that I always work in uneven numbers. So I've got 5 birds in my background. And just to add a little more texture, a little more excitement to what's going on in the scene. And that's kind of going to be most of it. Here we're going to remove the purple, and the purple tape is just holding where the crease is for my card base. This is an A2 sized card base, and yes, I'm not going to have a black mat. I know, mind-boggling, but I didn't feel it needed it, only because I felt this was going to stand on its own. So it's just a heavyweight cardstock base, and then I did all of my blending and everything on top. So we're going to take the thanks from the Handmade Essentials by Scrapbook.com. Sorry, tripping over my words. And we're going to heat emboss it. So we're going to take my mini Misti. We're going to snap it down with that just in case. I don't want to mess up now, right? So I'm going to use my mini Misti to make sure I get a really good impression, because we've already done all of our blending and everything. I have my anti-static powder tool. I'm going to powder that in. And then I'm going to use some Versamark ink, and I'm going to stamp it down. I believe I stamp it down twice just to be safe, because we only get one shot at this. And ideally we do a really good one the first time. And then we're going to use Brutus Monroe's Alabaster White embossing powder to emboss it, which is my favorite white embossing powder. I love the Brutus Monroe embossing powders. I'm actually kind of waiting and hoping they have a sale so I can buy some more. And keep in mind too, my oxide inks are dry at this point, as are my mountains, or sorry, not my mountains, my clouds. Because otherwise your embossing ink, of course, would stick. Not your embossing ink, your embossing powder would stick to these wet areas. Mine are not. Mine are dry. And I also gave my heat tool about 30 seconds to warm up before I brought it to the cardstock, just because I really didn't want any warping, although this is a heavyweight cardstock, so the warping would be minimal. And then I took some sequins from, I believe these are Studio Katia. They are. Some crystal, sparkling crystal Studio Katia embellishment. They're just some beautiful crystals. Stuck them down, and I'm gonna add a little splatter, because I just felt the background needed a little bit more. So we're gonna use some white gouache, just watered down a little bit so that it would flow, and we're gonna use some Ink on 3's Pixie dust, just to add a little bit of shine. If you guys have been with me for a minute, you know how much I love the bling and the shine and the glitter. So we're also going to add a few splashes of the Ink on 3's Pixie dust. And then that's going to finish our card. So I'm going to hold it up here once I'm done splattering everything on and show you how much that pixie dust adds sparkle to the background. And that's the whole card. I hope you guys love it. I hope you will check out that stencil. It's such a cool stencil. And if you like this video, I'd love to have you back. I'd love to have you subscribe. Leave me a comment. Leave me a like. And I cannot wait to see you guys again. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.